Strawberry and black pepper are a surprisingly good flavour combination, and this hot sauce showcases that flavour profile beautifully. Fermented for flavour, I'm getting a little bit exotic and using long pepper for this, but regular black pepper would work just fine too. Let's get adventurous. Okay, first up, to make this sauce, we're going to need some strawberries. This is about 1 punnet. And next up, to bring the heat, some red habaneros. 3 of these should be more than enough to give the sauce a really good kick. Forbidden strawberries. Also, to keep things a little bit savoury, we're going to need some garlic, just a couple of cloves, we don't want to go overboard. And lastly, just to bulk things out in case we need it, I've got 1 small carrot. In addition to bulking out the sauce, this will give a nice earthy flavour and a subtle sweetness. You could use other vegetables to bulk out your fermentation, but I've really been enjoying carrots in my ferments lately, so that's what I'm going with today. And lastly, the special ingredient, pepper. But not just any pepper, this is long pepper. I was just going to use regular black pepper for this. Black pepper pairs really well with strawberries, quite surprisingly, but I've always wanted to cook with long pepper, so this seemed like a good opportunity to try it out. I've never used it before, so let's see how it goes. So this is long pepper. It's related to regular black pepper and it's native to Indonesia. And its extra long peppercorns have a sweet, fragrant, and slightly musk-like flavour and aroma. They are a little bit harder to find. I got these online, but if you can't find any, regular black peppercorns will work just fine. Having said that, if you really want to use long pepper and you can't find any, you do have a couple of options. Number 1, you can jump in your video editing software and skew the aspect ratio. This will give you a nice long peppercorn, but it might give your audience a bit of a headache if you leave it that way for too long. Alternatively, you can just get a whole bunch of regular peppercorns and glue them together. The downside to this is that it's pretty fiddly and your sauce might end up tasting a little bit like glue. So again, I would recommend, if you can't find long pepper, trust me, regular black pepper will be great too. Now for this fermentation, I'm keeping things really simple. I'm only looking to ferment the strawberries for about a week. I think much longer than that and they'll probably turn to mush. And I usually find a week is about enough to develop some good flavors anyway. So I'm just using this old coffee jar, no fancy lid, just the standard lid that pops in. I'm hoping that if I fill this all the way to the top with brine, the lid will displace any extra water. And because it just wedges in the top, as pressure builds up, it should more or less just burp itself. But I will be checking it every couple of days just to make sure too much pressure isn't building up, but this is a really simple solution for short fermentations. Now the first thing that I need to know is the weight of the jar without the lid, which is 409 grams. We'll write that down and remember it for later. Now I've got all of my ingredients washed so they're clean and ready to go. So all I really need to do to prep these habaneros is to slice them in half. I really just need the insides to be exposed to make sure that the brine can get into all of the surfaces. Now, you could try and remove the seeds and the membrane to try and reduce the heat a little bit, but I don't think these will be too bad, so I'm leaving them as they are. And then they're just going into the bottom of the fermentation jar. Then I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I'm just, again, slicing in half and adding them to the jar too. Next, I'm adding the long pepper. I've never really worked with this before, so I'm not entirely sure how much to add. I don't want to overpower the sauce. I want it to taste mostly like strawberries and habanero. So I'm going in with 6 large long peppers, and I'm hoping that's just going to add a nice, subtle background note. For the strawberries, again, I'm leaving things fairly simple. I'm not going to bother hulling them. I'm going to leave the leaves on and just simply slice them in half. So there is still just a little bit of headspace in the top, and that's where the carrot comes in. So again, I'm just giving this a fairly rough chop. We don't have to be very precise because everything's going to be blended in the end anyway. So I'm just roughly chopping that on a diagonal so that we get some nice large flat pieces. So they're just going into the top of the jar with all of the other ingredients. Next, I'm filling the jar all the way to the top with some filtered water. Filtered water or bottled water is the way to go here. The chemicals in tap water are great for making it safe to drink, but not so good for fermentation. And now that our jar is full, we can take the weight again, which is 1,180 grams. So that's the total weight of the jar and the contents. Okay, so 1,180 grams is the total weight of the jar and the contents. I'm going to subtract from that the 409 grams of the jar, which means the content of the jar, ingredients and water are 771 grams. I want this fermentation to have a total salt concentration of 2.5%. So if I multiply that by 0.025, that gives me 19.25 grams of salt. So now, with a more accurate set of scales, I'll weigh out the salt. Close enough. So now, through a strainer, I'm just going to tip out some of the water. A little bit of spillage is fine. I really just need enough to dissolve that salt. So I'm just going to give that a stir until it's mostly dissolved. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. And then I've got my jar on a plate to catch any overflow. And I'm just pouring the brine back in. It should fill the jar all the way to the top. I'm just going to give the ingredients a bit of a jiggle just to try and get any air pockets that might be trapped. Might give it a little push down as well. This will help to squeeze out any air. Again, a little bit of overflow is not a problem. Okay, now we'll fill that all the way to the brim. And then I'm just popping my lid on. That will displace some of the water, which is exactly what I want. So now everything is submerged safely below the brine with no air. And as that starts to ferment, if pressure builds up, it'll hopefully just squeeze its way out of that lid. I will burp it every couple of days anyway, just in case, but I think that should be pretty safe to go. I'm going to leave this for a week and see how it smells and tastes. Some people like to let their ferments go for longer, but I usually find after 1 to 2 weeks, they've developed a pretty good flavor. Vegetables also tend to ferment slightly slower than fruits do. Soft fruit like a strawberry will ferment a lot quicker, so ideally I don't want that completely turning to mush, so I think after about a week that should be about right. But time will tell, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this has been about a week of fermentation. It's looking pretty good. A lot of the colour has started to leach out of the strawberries, but that's fine. The long peppers look like they've absorbed the water and swollen up a bit. That's interesting. Still got a good seal and still got lots of lovely bubbling and fermentation happening. So that's looking really good. I think it's time to make some sauce. So I am actually going to cook this sauce out. That's a pretty optional step. You could blitz this up as it is and have a raw fermented sauce. This will keep some of those natural probiotics in there. But I've really just fermented this for flavor, not for the health benefits of the probiotics. The other benefits of cooking the sauce out are that the flavors will mellow and mingle a little bit more, and it'll take off any sort of rough, raw edge. And it will also completely stop the fermentation, which means you won't have bottles exploding in the fridge. If you do want to keep this raw, you can blend it just as it is. Just make sure that you check the bottles occasionally. You might need to burp them just to release some of the pressure to make sure you don't have an explosion, because nobody wants to be cleaning up a fridge full of broken glass and hot sauce. Now this jar is pretty tightly packed, so I think I'm going to add all of the brine and the contents into the saucepan. Now, before I cook this, I'm going to sweeten it up a bit by adding a couple of generous tablespoons of honey. This should help balance some of the acidity from the fermentation. It'll balance out some of the vinegar, which I'll add later, and just bring a really nice sweetness, which will bring out the flavor of those strawberries really nicely. All in all, I'd say that's probably about 1/4 cup. So I'm just bringing this up to a boil, and then I'll reduce the heat and cover it up. Now I'm keeping this on low with the lid on. I don't want to cook this too much because some of that lovely fresh strawberry aroma is quite volatile and will evaporate off with the cooking process. So I'm keeping it at a low boil with the lid on in the hope that I trap some of that lovely aroma inside. Okay, that's now had about 10 minutes, so I think that's done. Right, now this has had a chance to cool. So now I'm just going to transfer it into a jar. That's just going to make it a little bit easier for my immersion blender. I find that if I do it in the saucepan, it splashes everywhere. But if I keep it in the jar, everything stays nice and contained. Now I am going to add a little bit more acid to this in the form of some vinegar. It has developed a nice acidity through the fermentation process, but it just needs another little kick to brighten it up a bit more. And for that, I'm using some white wine vinegar. Pretty much any vinegar will do fine. I've been particularly enjoying white wine vinegar lately. I've been preferencing this over regular white vinegar as it's a little bit more mellow, and I've been using it in preference of apple cider vinegar because I find it a little bit less fruity and a bit milder, and I find it really lets the other ingredients shine. So to start off with, I'll add 1/4 cup. I'll blend this, give it a taste, and see if it needs a bit more. Okay, now I've got my immersion blender, and I'm just going to blend this until it's nice and smooth. Okay, now this is looking like a pretty nice saucy consistency. Now this is a little bit loose. If you like your sauces to be a bit thicker, you can just drain off a little bit more of that fermentation liquid before you blend. I will be adding a little bit of xanthan gum to this, which will thicken it up and make it a little bit glossier. And that'll also help to make it nice and stable so that it doesn't separate in the bottle. But I'm reasonably happy with that consistency, but let's have a taste to check the balance of flavors. Ooh, that's pretty damn good. It's got a real upfront fruitiness to it. Then there's a definite sweetness from that honey. A good acidity. I think I will add a little bit more vinegar. And then to finish, it's got a nice balanced heat. Not over the top, just about right. So just a dash more vinegar, and then I'll blend this again with some xanthan gum, and it should be ready to bottle. So just another dash of vinegar. I'm going about 1/8 cup this time. And now for the final blend, I've got a rounded 1/8 teaspoonful of xanthan gum, and I'm just going to sprinkle that in slowly while I blend. Here we go, and now you can see that that's nice and smooth. That xanthan gum has thickened it up just a little bit and made it nice and glossy. And that final balance of flavor. Oh, perfect. This will mature and mellow in the bottle, so this isn't quite its final flavor yet, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the video when I give this its final taste test. Now this last step is totally optional. I'm just going to pass this through a strainer. It won't make any difference to the flavor of the sauce, but it will just give the final sauce a really nice, smooth texture. It's only a little bit of extra work, but I think it's worth it. And if you're like me and you don't have enough hands to hold everything steady at the same time, you can always use my tried and trusted trick of taking the handle of the strainer and sticking it in your belly button. This gives you a surprisingly good amount of control over the strainer and keeps your other 2 hands free for pouring and straining. I think that trick alone is worth clicking subscribe for right now. And once you've finished straining this, don't throw out any of the solids. They're far too good to waste. There is tons of good flavor left in there. If you dehydrate those, they make a really excellent spice rub. I've got a video where I do just that, and I use this to make some really tasty corn ribs. I'll put a link in the top right of the screen about now. I'll also link it down in the description if you want to check that one out too. So after straining, this has worked out to be about 650 mils or just over 2.5 cups worth of sauce. So now finally, I've just got a couple of sterilized bottles and a funnel, and I'll fill those all the way to the top. Whoops, bit of an overflow on that one. When I said all the way to the top, I didn't mean all the way over the top, but that's all right, we'll clean that up afterwards. There we go. So I'll give these a week or so to mature in the bottle. That will let the flavour continue to mellow and develop, and then we'll give it a taste test. This smells really good. It's got the distinctly sweet smell of strawberries, but at the same time, it's really savoury. I can't wait to give it a try. That's good. The strawberry flavour comes through loud and clear, unmistakably strawberry, but at the same time, unmistakably savoury. It's got a good little kick of heat. Not too hot, but a good sort of balance. The long pepper is subtle, but it's definitely there. There's this slight muskiness that sort of sits in the background. It's really moreish. The sweetness from the honey is really nice too. It sort of brings all of the other flavours together, rounds everything out. This is pretty great. I am very happy with how this turned out. That is really good. Strawberries are definitely going to become one of my regular hot sauce ingredients from now on. For another awesome hot sauce video, check out this one here. And until next time, happy snacking.